Go over some more on segmental rolling. Hit that subscribe button, leave a comment, and again, I'm just going to do my part of explaining it one of the ways that I appreciate it and understand it. I think it's kind of interesting when you kind of get into it, because again, one of the things that we're going to start to look at when we get into this position is segmental rolling can be used as a warm up. It can also be used while you're practicing at home. Let's say you're doing some exercises or just doing some moves or movements, and be your own coach. Like, all right, one side feels a little bit different than another. Maybe this is where you go, let me try something and see if it makes it better or worse. So one of the things that we're going to look at in this setup is ideally I'm going to focus right now on a lower body segmental rolling pattern. And the thing that we're going to say here, right, is that my upper body is going to be overhead. My arms are going to be, as relaxed as possible from, realistically the waist up to my arms. My feet are going to be approximately shoulder width apart. So ideally what's going to happen is I'm going to flex like one hip and one leg and reach that leg across my body. Now, again, full disclosure, this is also after a time where I've previously had knee surgery. So you are going to see one side that's a little bit better than the other. And again, I think this is one of those beneficial kind of things, because realistically, not every move and every technique that we're ever going to do is be perfect. We all have, different mileage on our body. We all have our own mobility restrictions. And I think that it's great to have some type of realness to that. So that way we can show you that, hey, guess what? I still struggle with, stuff nowadays too. I'm going to flex the one leg and the hip, and I'm going to try to go ahead and reach it all the way over, and realistically trying not to have any additional movement or effort or tensing of my upper body. So realistically, when we go ahead and we do this kind of thing, it's going to be like a diagonal rotational kind of pattern. Then from here, ideally, we're going to go ahead and reach that leg back diagonally across, the body. So again, you're going to see here that the upper body should be as relaxed as possible, but where I'm struggling with this right now, this is one of those where, again, I have to try to relax everything, because realistically, the lower body, in this case, my left leg, is ultimately trying to pull the rest of my body over to that starting position. And again, your mileage may vary. This may be one of those things where you're going to have to find different cueing and different kind of positioning to be able to set this thing up. And realistically, again, I'm just focusing specifically on, for tonight, more on just the lower body segmental rolling. I do have a series that I'm going to put up on another video probably within the next couple of days about, upper body segmental rolling. This is going to be the link that we're going to go ahead and, again, where a lot of this information between some of my previous videos, some of my other content, other links and other resources to other cues from other great instructors and coaches, that if something resonates to you and makes it easier for you to appreciate this pattern or be able to practice this at home, this is going to want to be a resource that I want to be able to provide to you. So again, this is where you're going to be able to find a lot of that kind of information. So I want to just continue playing this for you. And again, just trying to work through this, where my upper body, as I went to go and return back over, it was still a little stiff and rigid. So playing this through again for you. Again, we're focusing more so specifically just right now on lower body segmental rolling. This is something that, again, you can do as part of your warm-up or your prep. This is something now maybe as we transition from general fitness movement and general exercise, where we can then go ahead and say, let's now get into some of our, warm-up drills, or some of the drills that we would go ahead and practice. Maybe it's a upa, maybe it's a bridge, maybe it's a shrimp, maybe it's a forward shrimp. And just like the video that we did last night, where we see some of the, some restrictions, stuff where we're just trying to get a little bit looser and feeling better. This is where we can pause in some of those positions, practice a couple repetitions, and see if that kind of just makes us feel a little bit better and make the movement better. So again, I'm flexing that hip. I'm trying to reach it diagonally across, and I'm trying to keep my upper body as relaxed as possible. And again, you're going to see some issues with me, because this is also, again, coming off of a period where I've actually had knee surgeries on both legs. So there are going to be some struggles. If you've never done this kind of exercise before, you may have to take a little time to get used to. And the key thing is just trying to relax whatever segment of the body that we're not using. In this case, my upper body, I'm trying to keep it as relaxed as possible to be able to do it. And it can be surprisingly challenging. And again, when the arms, from there, the upper extremity should go ahead and be as relaxed on the floor as possible. And again, right now, the lower body is just merely kind of pulling it over. So again, I think this becomes one of those, exercises with not only lower body, and again, when we start to include, upper body rolling into this, I think it's something that will help you improve some of your basic movements because, like, again, if we have certain mileage or we have certain restrictions on our body, there may be some things that we need to kind of work on beforehand that hopefully if we do that may help us increase our mobility in some ways, may help us increase some stability in some of the other areas and more so into our core, and I'm just using, obviously core is a relative kind of term here, but realistically, a natural kind of rotational pattern into this, so again, I think this is one of those that, give it a shot when you're doing your exercises, especially if you're working out at home, you're doing a couple things. Maybe you do it, before you start to add, additional effort or, just speed into stuff. And as you've been practicing, Corey, working, one rep at a time or doing, as you said, like your quote unquote strong side or weak side. And I'm going to say these terms are going to be relative because there needs to be context to it. Some people will say, the good side and the better side, and again, one of those things that, hey, maybe some of this may help you out, in improving some of those movements, not only for just basic fitness, but also, again, tying into some of our jiu-jitsu, work, our mixed martial arts kind of work, even basic locomotion patterns too. So again, here's going to be just like a short link that you can go ahead and use. It's going to have, some of these videos, some of the content that we've already previously done, and also links to, again, some other great instructors and coaches that, again, for me, like I've said before in a lot of these videos, everything works. So realistically, if some other coach, or instructor gives you a cue that resonates to you better, I'd rather have you do that because at the end of the day, it's about you succeeding and getting better. You can see some of the stuff on the courses and some of the, the groups and how we're, setting a lot of that stuff up, to keep just kind of getting better right now, because again, we need to have good, mobility and fitness prerequisites. And I think this is where, when we're combining all of this together, plus the educational kind of components of really understanding like why, how, and what you kind of need to do to appreciate all these different kinds of positions based off of moves and movements, which are based off of mobility, then we can apply these qualities. I think that, really kind of helps out. So practice your segmental rolling. Have any questions, feel free to, again, like it, share it, comment, make sure to hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.